Dr. Frazier was here every day, and if he wasn't, he checked on Desiree every day. He took her case very personal.
I think he's like amazing for like being able to like do what he can, and I've like researched him, so like I know more of the stuff he does, and it's just kind of crazy. Like he put like, because my scar is not that big, he just put his big hand in there and it's just like that long.
Desiree recently walked back into UMC Trauma to thank her life-saving team.
Hi, how are you? I was here. I took care of you and room. I was there when you first got out of bed.
Like, thank you for like helping save my life, because like I shouldn't have made it multiple times.
Well, like I said, we deal with a lot of sick patients and a lot of people that are on that cliff ready to fall off and die, and we kind of grab them and pull them back. And I mean, she had all hands on deck holding her to pull her back from that.
When we come back, we'll introduce you to Cheyenne, a woman who was shot 14 times in her own home. She's now back home thanks to the care she received here at the UMC Trauma Center. Her story on the other side of this break.
You ready?
Uh-huh.
There's no time for downtime. Better get better, quick. UMC Quick Care has locations all across the valley, and you never need an appointment. So get in and get better. UMC Quick Care.
Can't move.
You ready?
Uh-huh.
There's no time for downtime. Better get better, quick. UMC Quick Care has locations all across the valley, and you never need an appointment. So get in and get better. UMC Quick Care.
Can't move.
You never know when you can't really see whoops, coming. And sometimes you just can't avoid the old. Life is full of surprises. So when life pulls up, get to UMC Quick Care. For life's bumps and breaks, sneezes and wheezes, one of our Valley locations is ready and waiting to save the day. So you can get in, get out, get better, quick. UMC Quick Care.
Welcome back to UMC Digest. Today we're sharing stories of survival, hope, and healing from the UMC Trauma Center. Our next story is about a woman who was shot 14 times in her own home while her children were inside. Here's what happened, and here's how well she's doing now.
Squeeze hard.
Cheyenne Briggs lives a lot more peaceful life now than the one she was unfortunately getting used to. She admits she had been a victim of domestic violence for years. The screaming, yelling, and bruises culminated in one horrible night and injuries that would change her life, yet also put her on a safer and more joyful path.
I was in the living room watching, I was actually watching Chicago Med, one of my favorite shows. I was watching that. I started doing laundry. So I, yelled down the hallway, hey, can you make the bed, to my boyfriend at the time so that we can go to bed. And he just starts going off, cursing me out. Why are you always bothering me? You were up there the whole time.
Cheyenne was unfortunately numb to the ongoing emotional abuse, but this time things escalated and she decided to leave the house to let things cool down.
And I was only gone for maybe 10 minutes at the most, I think. So I came back home and I noticed his motorcycle was gone. We both rode motorcycles, so mine was left out, so I figured he was gone.
But he wasn't, and all of the doors and windows had been shut in the house while she was gone.
There's a bathroom and hallway. Straight across the hallway were my children's rooms, and straight back was the master, so all the doors were closed. I went in the bathroom, I'm using the restroom.
That's when he came in.
Oh, you think it's sweet how you talk to me, and just rambling on. And I started explaining, like, it's messed up. I work all these hours, you're here doing nothing. Like, I did everything. You do absolutely nothing. And I come home and you start fussing at me because I asked you to make the bed. And in the middle of me saying that, just he had his arms like across the door, so I didn't see anything in his hands. He had on sweats. I didn't see anything in his pockets. So he had his, spread across the door, and he comes out and he shoots.
He didn't shoot just once.
I fell off the toilet, and I'm just down there, like, he's still talking. I'm just down there like, oh my God, he shot me. Like, what the heck? What is going on? Why is this happening? And I'm just like, ooh, ah, like, not crying, not screaming, just kind of in shock.
But there was more to come. In total, he shot her 14 times.
He goes to the living room. He gets a chair from the kitchen table and he sits in the middle of the hallway. And he starts calling people. He's like, I just messed up. Like, you guys aren't going to see me for a while.
Cheyenne's children were in the house watching and hearing everything happen.
I was trying to get my daughter to climb out of her window to go get help and to get, take her and herself and her little brother, like, get out of here. I didn't know, I knew he had a whole nother clip. I didn't know if he had it in his pocket or what, but I knew there was another one, so I suspected, I really expected to die. Like, I thought that was over. So I just, like, started praying to God, like, just, if I'm gonna go, like, please let me at least say goodbye to all my kids. Just don't let them see me die like this. Like, at least let me make it to the hospital where I could probably say goodbye. And my daughter comes out, my 10-year-old, well, she was 10 at the time. She comes out and she's like, please don't kill her, please don't kill her. And he's like, I'm not gonna kill her, go back in the room, close the door.
Cheyenne could hear sirens in the distance coming her way.
My daughter, she tried to bring me a pillow to lift my head up, but it was just too painful.
EMS arrived and transported her to the UMC Trauma Center.
By the time I got to the hospital, I want to say it was a case manager or someone, I can't remember her title, but she gave me a cell phone, like, you need to call someone, we can't find anyone to call. And I ended up calling my grandmother, and she answered, and I was like, he shot me.
And we noticed that she had multiple gunshot wounds in her abdomen and her leg, among other places. And once we were able to get her stabilized, we very quickly rushed her to the operating room.
Cheyenne was in intensive care for 6 weeks, and during that time had to have her leg amputated because she had irreparable vascular injuries.
At least, even though we had to amputate her leg, at least she's alive and able to be here, be with her kids, and be motivated to be the best person she can be.
It's a berry medley to go on top. And where's the sugar? Awesome, good.
She's had a very, very positive attitude in life. I can't even begin to imagine what I would feel if I got shot at 14 times and had to be in the ICU 6 weeks and have the litany of problems related to this. The fact that this has not kept her down, this has not discouraged her, she has not felt sorry for herself, is something that's truly inspirational, and regardless of who you are. Just to see her not back down from a challenge, to use this as motivation to be the best person she can be and be there for her kids, is something to marvel at.
When we come back, we'll meet this young cowboy. Wait until you hear his story. That's on the other side of this break.
There's no time for downtime. Better get better, quick. UMC Quick Care has locations all across the valley, and you never need an appointment. So get in and get better. UMC Quick Care.
Find a dock in my neighborhood.
The nearest dock is the Port of Long Beach, 284 miles away.
Find a dock. Doc!
Calling Doug.
Finding a family doctor in your neighborhood is as easy as visiting a UMC Primary Care. Locations valley-wide, there's one near you.
Find nearest Thai food.
Typhoons occur in the North Pacific Ocean.
Welcome back to UMC Digest. You're about to meet one of country music's biggest and youngest fans who survived a terrible accident because of the care he received here at the UMC Trauma Center and UMC's Children's Hospital. Here's his story. Tyler is back to his ranch life now, following a near-fatal accident.
I was in Utah on my uncle's ranch, and then on the last night I was supposed to be there, my cousins told me that they were going to go out and get a few extra dollars delivering phone books, which at my point I thought, why can't the mailman do it?
Tyler eventually agreed to pitch in and help, and along with his cousins, they loaded up a truck with phone books.
We weren't going very fast at all, so I hopped in the trunk. The trunk was open, full of phone books in it. I just sat on there, and then the phone book slipped. I slipped when we were turning the corner, and an Ford Expedition, was speeding through the stop sign and ran me over both axles.
Within those quick seconds, Tyler's injuries were near fatal.
I remember a huge, almost like looking at the sun now, and then I saw a hand, and there was a cross dangling from it, and then it gave it to me, and then I woke up, and I looked around, and somebody had put a phone book underneath my head, and I woke up and there was a lady standing at my feet telling me not to move, everything's gonna be okay, don't move. And then I looked around and I saw my two cousins laying over there, or sitting over there crying. And then I heard sirens and I looked over there and there was the ambulance coming in.
We was a part of 2 baby colts being born earlier that morning. And so he's having the time of his life. I was excited to get the phone call. And I kind of hear a very calm, very detailed voice tell me, "This is Mike, Dwayne. Tyler was in an accident. He was hit by a car." And I said, "Okay, stop right there. Don't give me details." You know, he said he's on his way to the hospital. So I said, "Okay, don't call your sister. I'm going to pick her up. My goal is just to get them there safe. We'll deal about it with it when we get there."
While his family was driving from Las Vegas to St. George, the doctors in St. George decided Tyler needed to be flown to UMC, the only designated pediatric trauma center in Nevada.
It wasn't till probably about 45 minutes into our drive to St. George that we were just about to hit Mesquite when the surgeons called me on my cell phone, and they told me that if our son made the flight, we would have seconds to say goodbye with him. That his injuries were so severe they didn't think that he was going to make it.
Mom and Dad made it back to Las Vegas and to the UMC Trauma Center before Tyler's helicopter landed.
We were able to see him for just a split second off the elevator before he went into the trauma unit.
What I liked about that part of the story is nothing was stopping his mother and I from being right there at the elevator when he was coming off. You know, we knew which elevator he was coming in from. The doctors gave us permission. Usually they don't allow that, maybe because they knew how severe it was. You know, they knew how important it was to us. The rest of the family stayed very closer to the security guard booth. And when Tyler, the door dinged, the door opened up, and Tyler's in full C-spine, you know, backboard, neck brace, IVs hanging, you know, he can barely move. And as he's passing us, he lifts up his hand, gives us a thumbs up.
Tyler presented with polytrauma with 3 solid organ injuries. He had liver laceration, kidney laceration, and a spleen laceration as well.
He also had pulmonary contusions and was in respiratory failure.
I had a grade 5 liver, a grade 4 kidney, and a grade 5 spleen, or a grade 3 spleen, and the highest they can go is 5. And then I broke C7 and T1 in my neck, which is the big bump and the one below the big bump, or above the big bump, sorry. And then I broke 22 ribs. Just to clarify, you have 24.
The first week and a half was the most critical, where his lung bruising had gotten worse, and he eventually ended up on a breathing machine with a ventilator attached to him.
Dr. Benari, she took care of him so well, and she took care of us too. She made sure we were sleeping, and when Tyler was coming off his intubation, I remember she hugged us, and when he was going on, she hugged us. She told, like, I thought it was going to be the end of the world, you know, when he was going to be intubated, and she assured me that it's really the beginning, that he needed it to feel better and to get the rest that he needed. I remember Dr. Dugan's patience and his bedside manner. He sat on Tyler's bed and would just touch him and just smile.
Tyler was in the pediatric ICU at UMC for 22 days, many of them in a medically induced coma.
Intubated for like 10?
The first 5 days, he was begging to just stop everything. He doesn't, you know, he did not want to keep going. He tried to pull out his tubes once he was intubated.
During that time, prayers and support poured in from all over the country, empowering Tyler to stay cowboy strong.
Hey Tyler, hey, it's your friend George Strait here. Hope you can hear me. Even better, I hope you can see me. But anyway, just wanted to let you know that we're all thinking about you and praying for you. And we want you to wake up and start getting better. I hear you're a good singer and a good team roper. Well, I want to see all that. So, fight hard, man.
Hey Tyler, this is Trevor Brazil. I just wanted to shoot you a quick video and let you know that we're thinking about you, and I'm going to be praying for you, and everybody I know is going to be praying for you, because I serve a God that answers prayers, and I know you're going to get through this, not only because of that, but because you're cowboy strong.
Hey bud, this is Daniela. I heard about your story and I'm truly sorry about that. But there's one thing I need to tell you, is that you need to keep on fighting. Fight hard. I know it's a tough battle that you're fighting, but you have to keep trying and don't give up. You have your family there by your side. I know they're having a tough time with this, but they're there to help you, support you, and love you through this horrible tragedy that one day will just be a memory. You got this.
The doctors told me if I was out of, if I survived, I was going to be in a wheelchair the rest of my life. And I told them, you can watch me walk out of here backwards.
And because of that determination, Tyler's recovery continued.
I came back and he was gone. All his leads were there, his blood pressure cuff, but Tyler was not there. And so I turn around and I look, and there he is standing with Dr. Dugan. And I walked up and he says, Dr. Dugan, I'm getting out of this hospital today and you're going to check me out. And Dr. Dugan says, well, I can't do that. We got to set up in home care, and he says, well, who does that? And I remember Dr. Dugan pointing at a lady standing at the counter, and he says, she's the one. And Tyler walked over to her and says, you need to get my home care set up because I'm out of here.
He was discharged within the hour.
Is that in, Mama? Is that in your mouth?
Tyler continues to heal, although you'd never know all that has happened to him while watching him on the ranch.
I'm back to riding him. I'm back to riding that one. I'm back to doing a bunch of other things. I'm back to roping, I did an archery tournament at school. I'm back to playing with the goat, building houses in the backyard. I'd like to say two things. I'd like to say sorry for being so sassy, and I'd like to say thank you for everything you've done. Thank you for saving my life. Thank you for fighting with me.
For more information on any of the stories you've seen or on our first and only services, please log on to our website at umcsn.com. You can also find us on social media. Thank you for watching this edition of UMC Digest. We'll see you next time right here on Clark County Television. Until then, take care.
ready?
Uh-huh.
There's no time for downtime. Better get better, quick. UMC Quick Care has locations all across the valley, and you never need an appointment. So get in and get better. UMC Quick Care.
Can't move.
Find a dock in my neighborhood.
The nearest dock is the Port of Long Beach, 284 miles away.
Find a dock. Doc!
Calling Doug.
Finding a family doctor in your neighborhood is as easy as visiting a UMC primary care. Locations valley-wide, there's one near you.
Find nearest Thai food.
Typhoons occur in the North Pacific Ocean.
There's no time for downtime. Better get better, quick. UMC Quick Care has locations all across the valley, and you never need an appointment. So get in and get better. UMC Quick Care.
Thanks for watching Clark County Television, the best access to your local government.
Coming up next on Clark County Chronicles, two of the most important projects in Clark County history celebrated construction milestones. Short-term rental scofflaws will feel a bigger bite if they open their homes illegally in Clark County. And Human Services Director Tim Birch talks about fostering and adoptions of children and teens. Those stories and more coming up next on Clark County Chronicles. Hello, I'm Randy Swallow. Welcome to Clark County Chronicles. Allegiant Airlines is a true local success story. Headquartered in Summerlin and operating dozens of daily flights out of McCarran, the company continues to fly high as its name will be atop of a $2 billion stadium.
So from this day forward, I'd like to announce that the stadium will now be known as Allegiant Stadium.
Raiders president Mark Bedane proudly introduced the stadium naming rights, announcing that Las Vegas-based Allegiant Air will pay the stadium millions in exchange for calling this place Allegiant Stadium for the next 30 years.
And this is where people come to have fun. This stadium you all are building is going to be one of the premier facilities in the world. We couldn't be more proud and honored to be part of that whole picture and be part of Las Vegas. And I'll close by saying what Mr. Davis Sr. said all the time, just win, baby.
Raiders owner Mark Davis heaped praise on his construction crew, the team of men and women who are making this magnificent structure a reality.
Most of all, I want to thank the guys back there with the hard hats. Those are the guys that work every day, every night, making this dream come true for all of us in the Raider Nation.
Davis and local dignitaries scrawled their signatures on a steel girder. The 65,000-seat Allegiant Stadium consists of over 200,000 individual beams, and on this day, the final one was hoisted into place. This significant construction milestone, the last being put into place, is called a topping off ceremony. A tradition in topping off involves erecting a tree, usually an evergreen, at the stadium's apex. And the thousands of men and women working on the stadium stopped their duties to watch and record this historic moment.
What a great day to come together to celebrate the organized labor, the men and women who are building this incredible stadium, and to celebrate Allegiant, who is now the newest partner in this venture.
In addition to hosting the Las Vegas Raiders, Allegiant Stadium will become home to the UNLV Rebels football team. And this place is expected to host another 20 or 30 concerts each year, special events, and other sporting events. Allegiant Stadium is scheduled to open next July. Another building's topping off ceremony marked the construction milestone of this place, a multi-billion-dollar expansion of the Las Vegas Convention Center. Construction was halted for a couple hours one summer day as hundreds of construction workers and convention center employees autographed a massive steel beam. This beam became the final one installed in the new 600,000 square foot exhibit hall. Similar to the Allegiant Stadium ceremony, a fir tree was affixed to the top of the girder, and steel workers deftly craned the colossal piece into place, effectively topping out this phase of the job. The project is a joint venture of a couple construction heavyweights, Turner and Martin Harris. The contractors treated the tradesmen and tradeswomen to lunch. On any given day, more than 725 workers are on the job, a portion of the 14,000 jobs created by this development. This structure is just one part of a $1.5 billion expansion of the convention center, which will also feature an underground people mover. The tunnel consists of about a mile of track, 3 stations, and rail cars. This project is nearly the halfway point of construction and is expected to open in late 2020, just in time for the enormous Consumer Electronics Show in January 2021. And the latest renovation to keep Clark County as a top convention destination in the country. A high-level group of elected officials and sustainable energy leaders met here on the UNLV campus recently to discuss ways to improve the green report card in the Silver State.
A guy who has been green before green was cool.
CEO Tina Quigley and the rest of the Regional Transportation Commission staged a Clean Energy and Transportation Summit to assess and discuss the current and future renewable energy landscape for our state. Nevada Governor Steve Sisolak signed 8 legislative bills this last session that dealt with clean energy, pollution, and climate. The governor is challenging public transit policymakers to envision and plan for a future transition of an all-renewable energy transportation system.
We're going in the right direction, which is a real positive thing, but there's a lot more left to do. We've increased our RPS, the performance standard, which is good. We're investing money in electric school buses, which is good, but we need to do more, whether it was, the expansion of the school bus program, other incentives to have people buy electric vehicles, they're bringing the cost of the renewable energy down, which the industry is working on. Those are all positive steps that we can do to move forward and get people more bought into the idea of renewables and transportation improvements.
Clark County and all local agencies rely on electric and alternative fuel fleet vehicles. And that trend will continue as many of these types of energy-efficient automobiles far outpace the sales of gas-powered cars. Clark County's Charge Point station outside the government center is usually chock-a-block with electric vehicles getting a fill under the solar-powered panels.
Of really having Southern Nevada take a step forward in addressing climate change, because it's here.
District F Commissioner Justin Jones participated in a group panel on Nevada's path to reducing carbon emissions and is steadfast in his efforts to improve the county government's commitment to sustainability.
First off, we need to have a sustainability office that really steps up to the plate. And as leaders, I've talked to our county manager about having a full-time position. Right now, it's simply an extra duty that we've put on one of our planners. And we're having those discussions, but I think it's also incumbent on the county commission to set the tone. And so next month, I'm going to ask the county commission to really step up to the plate when it comes to sustainability and making sure that we are more energy efficient.
Despite the excellent efforts of Code Enforcement Street Team, illegal short-term rentals remain a neighborhood nuisance in some parts of Clark County.
They should respect our laws. They cannot be yelling and screaming, drinking and partying, and deprive my wife of the sleep that she needed.
Speaker after speaker.
School zones ignored, drunk drivers going to and from the STRs.
It is not a safe environment to raise children.
Step to the microphone.
Constantly drunk gentlemen climbing those pool structures, trying to talk to me in my garden.
And urged the Board of County Commissioners to help them curb the proliferation of resort-style, short-term rentals in their communities. In unincorporated Clark County, it's illegal to rent your house, your condo, or even your bedroom for less than 31 days.
Seeing none, please cast your vote. And the motion passes. Thank you.
The commissioners voted to